15 years ago, on January 15th, 2009, US Airways Flight 1549 made an emergency landing here on the Hudson River. Today, emergency services personnel, police, fire, EMTs, doctors and nurses, as well as New York Waterway ferry personnel gathered to reminisce about that historic moment. This photo, it happened in Weehawken, shows the miracle on the Hudson, how Captain Chesley Sullenberger and co-pilot Jeffrey Skiles successfully landed an Airbus A320 aircraft, which struck a flock of birds after takeoff, losing both engines less than 3,000 feet in the air, less than 4 minutes into its flight. On Monday, all the first responders and emergency personnel were thanked for saving all 155 passengers.
I was in the third floor of the Elks, where we rent for a planning office, the township planning office, and I see this plane slowly descending into the river. So myself and many other people called, 911, called the police, and the biggest question was, everybody thought it was a biplane, a very small plane, but it was not a small plane.
New York Waterway Captain Vincent Lombardi led the first ferry to the downed aircraft.
The first ferry on scene, we made a slow approach because we had seen that people were walking out on the wings, which were partially submerged, and we didn't want to create a wake and knock them off, making them any more soaked than they already were on this cold day. So we went to the wing first. We figured we would grab those people because they were wet, and we lowered our ladder down off our bow, and I idled the vessel right on top of the wing, and everyone just walked up. Once we had cleared the wing, we had then moved towards the starboard bow of the plane, and we had grabbed the life raft that was there and cut it free, towed it away from the plane at the time, because there was numerous other vessels there, and there was a helicopter there from the police department, and we figured we'd better get out of the way.
What we couldn't believe is that they were on both wings, all right? Our fireboat went out, but because the fireboat can't handle a lot of people, it stayed in the air in case someone did go in the water, they would pull them out of the water. We waited to the ferries to get there, other agency, Coast Guard, FDNY, with bigger boats, and most people came to the Weehawken, some went over to New York City. They were wet, they were near hypothermia because it was like 20 degrees out. So, we had to treat people, we had to care for them.
So New York Waterway is the most important function of this rescue operation. The ferry has always been instrumental with any sort of rescues along the Hudson River throughout the years. And they've had sinking vessels, sinking small vessels, people unfortunately trying to commit suicide, and they've always assisted with things like that. And the ferry operators took over and modified the plans that they know for sinking vessels and treated it the same way. Just like police, fire, and EMS, we have a plan for what's called the Port Security Initiative, which would have called for a sinking ferry or a vessel. We modified that plan on the moment for a sinking airplane.
Weehawken Councilman David Curtis, a North Hudson deputy fire chief at the time, was incident commander.
Everybody pulling together like they did, it was an amazing scenario, unprecedented. The ferry people allowing us to put our companies on the ferries to help out. It was the fact that no one was injured at the end of the day, and all the agencies that worked together from the New York side and from the Jersey side. The cooperation was amazing.
Yeah, what type of training do New York Waterway ferry operators and captains go through to be prepared for some type of an incident on the water?
Well, every month we drill and we go through training. We go through man overboard training, firefighter training, abandoned ship training, emergency pumping procedures if the boat's starting to take on water. And really, you train for any waterborne incident, but a plane was never really put in the literature there.
Each passenger has their own story. Two spoke on Monday.
It wasn't that nervous. I was very calm, cool, and collected because I figured once we were turning around to go to LaGuardia, that didn't happen. I'm a swimmer, so I have no fear of the water. So I always felt in my mind that if I did get off the aircraft, I was going to be able to swim. For how long? Well, that was an unknown.
So I felt like Denise, I thought we were going back to the airport. I felt it was banking until I saw, all of a sudden I see this bridge coming up off George Washington Bridge. Like, that's pretty close. Never seen anything like that before. And then all of a sudden the captain says his famous words, "This is your captain, Grace Redback." That's the moment. I knew it was serious. Because all I could see out my window was water. And the only thing I could, cross-reference everything I've seen, a plane going into water doesn't happen. It's not a positive experience.
15 years almost seems like yesterday. To everyone who had a hand in this miraculous rescue, kudos. You are all true heroes. In Manhattan for HUD News, I'm Jeff Hennig.